There's an African saying that goes like this: when there is peace in the community, the chief does not have to carry a shield. A shield is something that somebody carries to shield themselves against attacks. This African saying normally means, it can be interpreted, it means that effective leaders create harmony and prevent conflicts. Is a supervisor a friend or a foe? A supervisor is a role, not a personality. That is something that we need to note in whatever space that we are in. A supervisor is a role and not a personality. How that role is experienced depends on expectations, communication, and mindset on both sides. Both sides means the side of the supervisor and the side of the employee. For some employees, the supervisor is viewed as a mentor, a coach, and a supporter. For others, the supervisor is perceived as a gatekeeper, a source of stress, or even an obstacle to progress. There's a story about a worker who had actually put his boss in the contact list. He had put his name as Shetani. So at any time the phone rings, when he sees Shetani, he knows that it's his boss who is calling. And then there's somebody I worked with some years back. He had put the ringatone for his boss as the sound of a goat, the sound that a goat makes. So that can tell you definitely how he perceived his boss. A supervisor, what does a supervisor do? A supervisor is appointed to ensure that work gets done. He normally has a group of people working under him. So, and he's accountable to them. You know, he gives them work to do. He gives them he gives them guidelines. When there's performance management, he assesses their performance, and also he's accountable to upward to the management and downward to their teams. So supervisor is appointed to ensure that work gets done, standards are met, and organizational goals are achieved. So they play a dual responsibility, which often places them under pressure because the supervisor has to balance between productivity, compliance, deadlines, and people management. People management means clear communication. It means conflict management. So it makes his job to be quite challenging. When employees expect supervisors to function primarily as friends, disappointment can arise. Let's take an example. Two people are employed at the same time. Maybe they are all employed as human resource officers on the same date, and they become very good friends. But in the course of time, maybe after a few years, we find that maybe there is Mary and there's Jane. So after 2 years, Mary is promoted to become a chief human resource officer, while Jane remains a human resource officer. Remember, they are good friends. So maybe Jane may assume that because Mary is my friend and we were employed together, I don't have to come to work on time, you know, I don't have to finish an assignment. This can put the boss now in a very challenging situation because he's now torn between favoring her friend or maybe just being stern and saying, no, we're at the workplace, we must be accountable to the work that we do. And this can create acrimony. Supervisors must sometimes make very unpopular decisions. They must enforce rules. They evaluate performance. We've talked about that. They can deny requests. Maybe people want to be given an off day at a time when it's very busy or whatever. They want a bonus or they want a salary increase. And also when they correct mistakes. Somebody might feel that this boss doesn't like me. That's why everything I do is not right to them. So they at times have to make unpopular decisions. And when things get worse, they can even recommend for one's dismissal or one's, if there's a bonus being given, people are being asked who doesn't qualify for this, they have to make sometimes very unpopular decisions. When is a supervisor perceived as a foe or as an enemy? When there's poor communication or unclear expectations, the group can perceive him, or the people he supervises can perceive him as an enemy. He doesn't give them clear communication. Maybe he can just say, go to that, get the toolbox, get to work. He doesn't give instructions on if there's a major job they're working on. He doesn't allow his team to come and ask him questions. You know, he can just be loading it over them, they're unclear. Why are we doing this? Not explaining to them why we have to do this job and get it finished in time. Maybe there's maybe there's a group coming from outside to access how the company is doing. So a supervisor can become a foe when there's poor communication or unclear expectations, perceived favoritism or unfairness. If people feel like he's favoring people of his tribe, or this man does not like women, he hates women, or this woman does not like men, or he doesn't like, or this woman hates me because I'm married, I have children, So when the people perceive, when the team perceives that there's favoritism or unfairness, the supervisor can be perceived as a foe. When there's lack of feedback or recognition, the team does very well, or the team is not doing well, and there could be reasons. Or when they have been given an assignment and the assignment went the way it went, maybe it went very well, or maybe there were some things that need to be changed. He doesn't give them feedback, or when they have questions, the team has issues which they want the supervisor to take the management. Maybe they feel that their working clothes are very uncomfortable for them, or they lack the PPEs. They have to get into, they have to work in places whereby it is actually dangerous for them. It's a threat to their lives. And they send the supervisor, because he's their boss, they tell him, go to the management and talk to them if they can look into this issue and see how they can make things to be comfortable for us, to enable us to work well and produce the results that are needed. And he does nothing. Or he can say, okay, I'll tell them, and then they know there's a meeting coming up. He goes, doesn't give them any feedback. Or if people are working very well, the team is achieving it's meeting all its targets. Maybe they're given certain targets to achieve. Like maybe people are selling cars, and you're told, and you're a supervisor, and you have a team of sales executives, and you have to sell 10 cars every month. And maybe the team has been selling 10 cars every month steadily for the last 10 months. And the supervisor doesn't even recognize, doesn't even congratulate the team. He does not recognize their efforts, and the people, they can end up feeling frustrated. They are not even rewarded for meeting their targets. Sometimes also fear-based leadership or micromanagement also can make a supervisor to be considered a foe by his team. When a supervisor gives you instructions and then he doesn't let you do the work and report back to him, but is breathing down your neck. Do it like this. And then you do it. No, do it like that. He's just on your tail, he's just following you he's like shadowing you, that can make a supervisor to become a foe. Or if any work you take to your supervisor, he always finds faults and he does not tell you how to do it right. He just says, this thing has been badly done, go and do it again. But he doesn't tell you how to do it. Where is the problem? How can we sort out this? Then he can be perceived to be a foe. Now, what are the effects of poor supervision if supervisors are not supervising their teams well? Trust erodes. You find that the team does not trust their supervisor anymore. He's given money to come and share with the team because of maybe some achievement they have, and then he just keeps it to himself. There have been cases like that in some places where I have worked. So the employees may and many other reasons. So trust may erode. Maybe when they trust him with their personal issues, when they go to him with their personal issues, whereby the team expects confidentiality. Somebody in the team, members of the team, they can go to the supervisor. They have some sensitive, confidential issues that they speak with the supervisor. The next thing they know, everybody knows about them. Everybody knows about their weakness. It erodes trust. A supervisor can even be in a meeting whereby it can be a meeting whereby the whole company gathers together and maybe is called up to speak on behalf of his team, and he says things that are not right. He knows they are not right. The team knows they are not right. So the trust can become affected, so that it can cause the trust to go down. His team do not trust him. Employees may withdraw. They may resist authority. They may say, we don't want this supervisor. They down their tools. We are not going to work until this supervisor is removed. Or they can just disengage, creating a cycle of tension that affects performance and morale. It is important, however, it is important to pause and ask. This question we need to ask ourselves. Is the challenge the supervisor as a person, or the way the role is being interpreted and executed? So it's also important for people to know or workers to know what is the role of the supervisor. Do we actually need a supervisor? I was actually working in an organization some time back. I've worked in many organizations. And there's a time when a supervisor of a certain team, in that company was actually left. The person left, they separated from the company. And then the people who remained actually gathered, and they came and told me as the HR manager that we don't want a supervisor. We just want to work. We don't need somebody to supervise us. And that of course tells me something about what do they perceive to be the role of a supervisor? Is the challenge the supervisor as a person, the one who left, or is it the way that role is being interpreted and executed? It seems like they did not know why a supervisor is needed. So when do supervisors become allies? Supervisors become allies when they communicate expectations clearly. Tell your people why we are doing this and what is the reward of doing this and what part do they play in doing whatever they are doing, and is there any reward for them doing whatever they are doing as a team. Listen actively and provide constructive feedback. This is very important. Active listening is very important for a supervisor to understand what the team wants or where the team is going. So a supervisor becomes a friend. A supervisor that listens to his team and provides constructive feedback will normally be perceived as an ally by the people he's supervising. Supervisors are considered to be allies when they hold people accountable with fairness and respect. When somebody does something wrong, even if it's their friend, even if it's their relative, even if they come from the same village or they went to school together, they'll make sure that they deal every matter that faces the team or individuals in the team with fairness and respect. They don't insult people. Every person is seen and is treated as a valuable member of the team. Supervisors are considered allies when they support learning, development, and problem solving. When there are opportunities for his teammates to go for training, they select among the team who should go for the training, and the selection is done fairly. They support development. When there are areas whereby the team can undergo greater development, maybe the people want to go and do some studies, they want to register for courses that will help them to be better at the workplace, that will help them to get promotion, they support that. When there's a problem, they follow the fair way of solving problems, such that no favoritism is seen, but neutrality is observed, and the problem is sorted out without any casualties. What is the employee's responsibility? Because the employee's responsibility means what is the responsibility of the people who are under a supervisor? How should we behave to our supervisor? What should be our role? Because the people who are being supervised, who are also known as supervisees, there's the supervisor and the supervisee. The people who we supervises are the supervisees. So these people also play a critical role. The people who are managed, the supervisees, they must also know how to manage upward through clear communication. Support your supervisor. When he gives an instruction and you understand the instruction, follow the instruction. Be cooperative, be innovative, be creative, support him. If he has a problem that is even outside the workplace, but you know somehow you can help, maybe somebody has passed on in his family, somebody who is close to him has passed on, be supportive. Go, say pole to him, be with him, comfort him, send messages of encouragement. When something is difficult, when he has given a difficult assignment and the whole team is struggling, and maybe you think about it and you find that you proactively think, or maybe you have an innovative idea and you can give it to him as a proposal that can help to have that can sort out the problem. Give it to him. Don't withhold information that can be of help to the group or that can be of help to your supervisor. Seek clarification instead of just assuming hostility. It is very difficult for a supervisor to manage his team or to supervise his team well when he experiences hostility. Somebody might be hostile to their boss just because at one particular time maybe he was rude to them or he said a word that hurt them. Don't hold that pain in your heart forever. Now you just become hostile for the rest of the many years you work for that company. You'll always be hostile to your supervisor, or you'll be hostile to any person who wears the hat of a supervisor. So seek clarification. If something is not clear, even if however touching it may be, seek clarification. Avoid hostility. Accept feedback without personalizing it. You may say, how come I'm the only one who is always, this feedback is giving us, I think it's just talking about me. I think this person just hates me so much. No, just accept the feedback and see how you can improve on the work that you're doing. Focus on solutions rather than blame. Most employees like to blame their supervisors. Oh, this supervisor is so weak, he's so passive, he's a drunkard, he's a tribalist, instead of doing the blame game. If something goes wrong, it is the problem of our supervisor. He didn't tell us to do this, he's not treating us well. He's always absent. He's not a bold person. No, focus on solutions. Treat him as a member of your team, but at a higher level, a person who is put in charge of you, somebody who is accountable for you. So when you as an employee, when you as a supervisee approach your supervisor with openness and professionalism, many perceived conflicts can dissolve. So remember, be open to your supervisor. Be professional. Don't go there abusing him and downplaying his leadership position, but go there with a lot of respect, even respecting the position he's in, and telling him that this job is the best person for it. And then you say your issue, and then you discuss your issue, and then you listen to him, and he listens to you, and then let him come up with a solution, or whereby you will also know that you will own it, because you'll have also given your take in it. So both sides should recognize and be aware that a supervisor is a partner in performance and growth. The supervisor is a partner in performance and growth for his supervisees, and also the supervisees, the people working under supervisor, they are also a partner in the performance and growth of the supervisor. Because when the team does well, the supervisor will report to his bosses that our people, my team is doing very well, and if there are opportunities for going for training, there's opportunities for promotion, the supervisor will be there, because he'll be told to give an assessment of his team. And also now, when the supervisor is performing well, when the team is doing well, when the team is achieving all its targets under a certain supervisor, even him to his bosses, the fact that he's managing the team well, there are no complaints, there are no conflicts, there's no tension in the group, it also helps the supervisor with his bosses. They will see, this is a very good supervisor. Throughout the year and the years that he has been in this position, there have been no conflicts, the team has been working well, they've been achieving their targets. So both the supervisor has a part to play in the performance and growth of his team, and also the team, when they work well, when there are minimal conflicts, when the team is cooperating with their supervisor, supporting him, and also he's supporting them and building up trust in his team. Even them now, they also contribute towards the supervisor's performance and growth. Now he might be promoted from supervisor to becoming a manager and any other higher position that is there in the organization. Now, in conclusion, we can say that a supervisor does not need to be your friend to support your success. Just work. Make sure that everything that is expected of you as a worker, you are doing it. You are not violating any rules. If you're given an assignment, you're doing it, completing it in time, handing it over in time. Even if he's not your friend, even if he doesn't say hello to you, but the work that he gives you to do, you're doing it perfectly. If you have any questions, you go to him at a good time, when he's not angry, when he's not mad, you look for an opportune time and you approach him, and you find you get clarification from him. He doesn't need to be your friend, because at the time when the time of assessment comes, performance management comes, when he's assessing your progress, when he's assessing your input, he will have no reason to say you're not a good worker, because you are doing all the work as you're supposed to do. If you're a driver, you had no accidents. When you're sent to a certain place to maybe deliver a parcel or to take people to the field, you are doing it well. If you're a researcher, you are meeting, you're doing your reports on time, you're finishing all your assignments well. He doesn't need to be your friend because he'll have no reason not to recommend you or not to rate you well because you are doing your work well. So a supervisor does not need to be your friend to support your success. Just make sure you are doing that which you are employed to do, that which you're supposed to do. They do not have to become your enemy simply because they challenge you. Most of the time when they challenge you, maybe they're trying to grow you. They're trying to make you see this is where things are not going. This is where you need to improve on yourself. So when they give you a challenge, or when they give you when they correct your work, or when they talk to you about how you're performing, or they try to correct some things that they find you're not doing well, because that is their role. They're supposed to they're in charge of a team. They're in charge of how you relate with one another. They're in charge of how you work. So when they do that, don't take them as an enemy. Take it positively. Listen to what they have said. Even long after they have said it, go back, reflect on what he said, so that you can be able to change and become that worker that will be of great support and gain to the organization. So a supervisor does not need to be your friend to support your success. Neither does he need to be your enemy simply because they challenge you. Growth normally comes from discomfort, accountability, and honest conversations. That is where growth comes from. When supervisors lead with integrity and employees respond with professionalism, the workplace shifts from confrontation to collaboration. And in that space, both the individuals and the organizations thrive. Thank you very much. I believe we have learned a lot about a supervisor who is actually supposed to be your partner in growth, your partner in progress in the organization. So my name is Susan Solomon. I am a motivational speaker. I'm a trainer, specifically most of the time in business studies and management skills. I'm also an entrepreneur, and I'm an HR acquisition specialist. So feel free to get in touch with us. The time we spend on Candy Talks is not long enough. We offer training, so you can get in touch with us. You can comment in our comment section, give your comments there concerning this podcast. And you can also get in touch with us. We can come to the ground. We can train your people on any matter, on any skill that you need in management, and also entrepreneurship if you're in that field. And we shall be happy to engage with you and also to be able to give you the service that you require from us. So our details, you'll find them just in this podcast. They'll be flashed on the screen, and feel free to get in touch with us. So thank you very much, and welcome again to our next podcast on Candy Talks with Susan Solomon. Thank you.